Hey Camp Unite, Jared Polson here. Hope you guys are having a great day at camp. I know you guys are about to go through this basketball drill video. These are a lot of different drills that I learned back at the University of Kentucky when I played ball there. So hopefully you enjoy this. Hopefully you learn a few things to take back home. And most of all, hopefully you guys have some fun. Wish I could be there in person, but just wanted to hop on here, say hello, and tell you guys to have some fun.
So what I want to do today is I want to show you guys a lot of the drills that I learned when I was playing for the University of Kentucky. I had a coach named Coach Calipari, and he taught all of his players a lot of these drills that we're going to work on today. We're going to do some shooting, we're going to do some dribbling, ball handling, we're going to do some defense, and hopefully by the end of this video, you're going to have some things to go home and practice on yourself. So if you guys are ready, I'm ready, and we'll get going. All right, so the first thing we're going to work on is the very best part of basketball, and that is defense. Defense is the best part of basketball. If you ever want to make a team, I promise you, working on your defensive skills is going to help you tremendously. Every coach in America is always looking for a good defensive player. So we're going to start out with learning how to do a really good defensive stance. So here we go. You guys can do this with me. First, we want to spread our feet apart a little past shoulder width, all right? So we're spreading our feet. Now, a big part of defense is bending our knees. Whenever we're playing basketball, we never want to be straight up. We always want to have our knees bent. So we're bent, our feet are spread apart, all right? Next thing we want to do is a lot of times you want to get back on your heels. Well, in the game of basketball, you never want to be on your heels. You always want to be on your toes, because when you're on your toes, you have room to go back and forth. You're more agile, all right? So our feet are spread, we're on our toes, our knees are bent. Now, a lot of times when you bend your knees, your reaction is for your back to go down. What we want to do on defense is we need our backs to be straight, because we got to see our defender. We got to see where our defender or our offender is going, all right? So we're down, our knees are bent, our back straight. The last thing is we want to have our hands out. We never want to have our hands on our knees, because we want to deflect passes. We want to be able to block. We want to be able to do all those things and disrupt our guy that we're guarding. So we're down low, our knees are bent, we're on our toes, our hands are out, and now we have that room to go back and forth. So that is a defensive stance, all right? Good. All right, so the next part of defense is, if you've been doing your job, the guy you're guarding or the girl you're guarding, they're not going to be able to get past you. So eventually, they have a couple options. One, they can pass it to a teammate, or two, they can shoot it. Now, a lot of times, when the person that you're guarding shoots the ball, a lot of times the natural reaction is to jump up high and try to block it, right? Spike it like a volleyball. Well, most of the time in basketball, the referee is going to call that a foul. Even if you didn't touch the person's arm, it looks like a foul. So what we want to do is we want to learn what's called a high contest. A high contest is when the person that you're guarding is shooting, you want to jump up in the air and put your hand high, not coming down, but just high, and put it right up there in their face so they can't see the basketball. All right? So, if you ever yell shot, you're in your defensive stance. If your offender goes for the shot, you jump up and yell shot. All right? So we're not coming down, we're jumping up, and we're high contest. All right? The next part is after they shoot, what do you have to do? You've got to box out, right? You can't let that person get the rebound. So right as soon as you jump up and yell shot, you're going to turn around and you're going to box out. So the whole motion is this. You're going back and forth, you're going back and forth. They shoot the ball, you yell shot, and then you block out. I'll do it one more time. You're right here, you yell shot, block out. Good job. So the next thing we're going to work on is the offensive player. They're probably getting frustrated by now because you're playing good defense, you're sliding back and forth. They can't get past you. Every time they shoot, you high contest, and they're probably going to miss some shots because of that. Eventually, they're going to get mad, and they're going to come at you, and they're going to charge you. So the next thing we're going to work on is how to take a charge. So if the person that you're guarding is coming at you, and you see them just running with a full steam of force, you're going to set up. You're either going to go right here or right here, and you're going to take a charge. It's really important that you stay still. You can't slide into a charge. You have to be still, all right? So if the person that you're working with, if they go like this, charge, you're going to set up and you're going to fall. Just like that, all right? So we have to be in really good shape to play defense, all right? So what we're going to do to get in shape a little bit is we're going to chop our feet. So instead of just standing here like this, we're going to work on chopping our feet. So we're here, we're in our defensive stance. Now we're going to be on our toes, and we're going to start chopping our feet as fast as we can, all right? And you can do this for 15 seconds, you can do it for 30. The goal is to be able to do this for as long as possible. So maybe that first time it's 20 seconds, maybe the second time it's 30, and then maybe once you get in a little bit more shape, you can do that for a whole minute, or maybe even 2 minutes. But it's really important that we are in shape in basketball. So an important part about conditioning that we just went over is putting the right things into your body. So when I was at the University of Kentucky, we were on a really strict eating and drinking diet, meaning we always wanted to put good things into our bodies, whether that's eating, drinking, and we wanted to not put bad things into our bodies. So when I was at Kentucky, in order for us to play our very best basketball on game day in front of 24,000 people at Rupp Arena, we had to make sure that our bodies were prepared. And so what that means is we try to eat healthy, but we also stay away from things like drugs and alcohol. We try to stay away from putting those bad things into our bodies, because if we have drugs or alcohol in our system, we're not going to be able to perform at the level that we need to perform, all right? So that's the first lesson we need to consider is if we want to get in shape, if we want to live really good and successful lives, we have to have the energy to do that, and we have to put the right things into our bodies, and we have to stay away from those bad things that are not going to be able to let us get to where we want to be. All right, so that's the lesson in conditioning. We've wrapped up defense. Hopefully you've learned a couple things. And again, if you have somebody at home or if you have a friend, you can go to the park and you can do these drills with each other. It's always good to have accountability. And so I would suggest doing that with each other, getting in that good defensive stance, doing the slides, shot blocking, boxing out, taking a charge, and doing those conditioning drills with chopping your feet, all right? So very good job, and we'll move on to the next subject. All right, so the next thing we're going to work on is ball handling. And through this session, you're going to see that there's a lot of really simple things that some of the very best ball handlers in the NBA work on every single day, all right? So if you think of people like Kyrie Irving or Steph Curry, people that are always crossing over their defenders, these are the drills that they do on a daily basis to make sure that their ball handling is really, really good. So the first thing we're going to work on is we're going to take a basketball, and we're really going to try to warm up our hands. I love this exercise before we go into ball handling different drills because we want to make sure our hands and our fingers are warmed up and are really strong. So first, we're just going to take the basketball and we're going to smack it. We're going to go back and forth, and we're going to try to smack it as hard as we can. This helps get your fingers warmed up. It gives your fingers and hands, it helps it collide with the ball, all right? So we're smacking it, all right, good. Now in basketball, a key to ball handling is we always want to use our fingertips. We never want to dribble with our palm. We always want to use our fingertips, the edge of your fingers, all right? So in order to get these fingertips strong, we're going to do this. We're going to do taps. Taps is we're going to put the ball over our head, and we're going to use our fingertips to tap it back and forth as fast as we can go, all right? So when we're doing this, we're not going back and forth like this. We're using our fingertips, the edge of our fingers, to tap it back and forth. In the game of basketball, if you never make a mistake while you're doing a drill, you're probably not getting any better. The very best basketball players in the NBA, they make mistakes every day because they know that when you make a mistake, that allows you to get better. So on all these ball handling drills we're about to do, it's okay to make a mistake. It's okay for the ball to go flying to the right or flying to the left, or it's okay to drop it like that, but that means you're trying hard. That means you're getting better. All right, so the next thing we're going to work on is called the crossover. Now with the crossover, kind of like I mentioned before, where a lot of people, if they do a crossover, it'll just kind of be haphazardly back and forth. That's never going to get you better, all right? So what we want to do is we want to get low, almost like a defensive stance. And when we work on a crossover, we want that crossover dribble to be really low and really hard, as hard as you can go. So instead of doing this, we're going to do this. Boom. Now the layup, it might seem simple to a lot of you, but it's really a shot that a ton of people do in the game of basketball. There's a lot of layups, and we want to make sure that we're really good at finishing those layups, all right? So there's 2 words you need to remember, especially if you're younger, on how to do a layup. The first word is high, and the second word is soft. And here's what I mean. A lot of times when I see younger basketball players, and even when I was young, I did this a lot, is you're running towards the basketball goal when you're dribbling and you're going for a layup so fast that the ball, when you shoot the layup, it hits the backboard, it hits the rim really hard, and you throw it hard. So this is what I mean. So you're going really fast. You're so fast that you get there and you hit it a little bit harder than you'd like. So when we do a layup, we want to be going fast, but our shot, we want it to be soft. All right? We don't want it to be a hard shot. We want it to be soft. Very soft. The next thing I see is you get to the rim and you go a little low. All right? So this is what I mean. You get there, and it goes like that. If you don't shoot the ball high, you're not giving the basketball a chance to go in on a layup. So when I go for a layup, I always want to go high and soft. So I get up, high and soft. You're going fast, but you're going to aim for that top right of the square, the white square on the backboard. High and soft. So that's layups. The next thing we're going to talk about is shooting. And everyone realizes shooting's probably the best part about basketball, or at least the most fun. Everyone wants to get their shots up, right? So when we're shooting, there's a few things that we need to be thinking about, all right? So the first thing is we want to have really good balance. We never want to be shooting when we're off balance, all right? So with good balance, we've got to have our feet about shoulder width apart, and we always want to be square to the goal, all right? The next thing with shooting is you want to use your dominant hand. So for me, I'm left-handed. So because I'm left-handed, I really am only using the left hand to shoot the ball. I should theoretically be able to shoot the ball with just one hand, because that's how you get aim. That's how you aim at the target. The other hand is just a guide hand, all right? The other hand is just a guide hand, so the ball doesn't go either way. It's a guide hand, so you're going up. And the key with shooting is a flick of the wrist, all right? So you're using that guide hand, your feet about shoulder width apart, you have balance, and you're going up, and you're flicking the wrist. And an easy way to remember that is if you ever saw Michael Jordan, he always ended his shot like that. He never ended his shot like that. It was always like this. He even held it sometimes for 5 or 10 seconds after the shot, but it was because he always knew that the shots that went in are because he flicked that wrist. So every time you shoot, you want to flick the wrist. That's going to make the ball go straight, all right? So we're here. We're at the target. We're looking at the goal. Our feet are about shoulder width apart. We have good balance. We go down. We use our knees. High and soft. And we flick our wrist. So that's really important. Something I like to do every time I go into the gym to start is instead of starting out with a three-point shot, I like to come right here at the goal. And I like to just use one hand, and I like to get my rhythm with just one hand. So I would recommend every time you begin to shoot, start with that. Little shots, just like that, to learn how to break that wrist every time, all right? So that's shooting. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this short video today. My hope is that you learned some drills that you can take home and you can do on your own, or you can do with a parent or a guardian, or maybe just some of your friends, because it's one thing to just watch this video, but it's another thing to practice these drills over and over again. And that's what really makes you become successful, is when you take things and you learn things, but then you go apply them to your life, all right? So again, I want to thank you guys for watching this video. I'm really excited to do this. I would love to be with you guys at the camps this year. Unfortunately, because of COVID, we're not able to do that. But I love these camps because I'm a lot like you guys that are watching this video. I grew up in Kentucky, small town called Wilmore, Kentucky in Jessamine County. And I feel like our stories are probably really similar. Went to West Jessamine High School and played basketball there, and through God's grace and timing, I was able to play at the University of Kentucky, my dream school, and probably a lot of your all's dream schools as well. And so something that has really helped me throughout my life and gotten to me to where I was I really believe that God made us for a reason. And I believe that Jesus Christ is our Savior, and that He made us for a purpose, and He has a plan for our life. And it's up to us to follow that plan and be obedient and to do the right things necessary to get to where we want to be. And so because I have that realization, and because I believe that God has a plan for us and purpose, I think it's so important to stay away from things that are going to take us away from that purpose. And like I mentioned earlier in the video, drugs and alcohol, those are two things that can really take you away from your purpose in life. And so for me, I love the game of basketball, but maybe basketball is not something that you guys necessarily love, but I do believe that God has given us gifts and He's given us talents. We're good at something. Maybe it's a subject in school. Maybe you're really good at math, reading, writing, social studies, science. Maybe you're good at music. You can play an instrument. Maybe you just are really good at helping other people. There's all kinds of gifts and talents that I believe God has given us, and it's up to us to use those gifts for good. But I also believe there's bad things in this world that try to get us away from our path. And so I would just encourage you guys at the end of this video to stay on that good course, to stay on the successful course. Realize that you have a purpose and that God made you for a reason, and He has an awesome plan ahead for you. And to stay away from those things that are going to try to take you away from that plan. And I truly believe that if you do that, if you surround yourselves with the right people, if you do the right things, if you're in the right place at the right time, and you're not in the wrong place at the wrong time, you're going to be able to live into that purpose that I think God has called us all into. So that would be my encouragement, and that's my heart today. It's just to say, I love basketball. I hope you learned some good things today and are able to apply them. But at the end of the day, I want to say that you have a purpose, and God has given you passions and gifts to be able to use. So thanks again for having me. Thanks again for watching, and hopefully we'll see you next year.
I'll give you $10 if you guess what's going to happen on this one. Downtown. This is the basket punt. Woo! Bang! Gravity flipper! This is the treehouse bucket. Here we go, boys. Crossbar hit. Let's go. I was trying to do 2 crossbars in a row. It didn't work out. I'll take it though. Woo! 8 ball, corner pocket. This is a target. Is it my target? I don't know. Could be. Is it? Maybe. Where'd you think I was going?
Let's ping the pong.
You guys are probably thinking to yourself, what about the blue balloon? Let's go! There's a hole in the racket! Let's go!
You may not believe me, but this is about to get splashy.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the point of the video
Where it's trust shot time.
whatever you do, I need you to not move.
Okay.
And then look like you're excited to be here. Don't look so grim. Yeah, nice.
It's gonna be good.
Welcome to the first ever real bow and arrow trust shot. Love you, Cobes! Yes! He's good!
Oh, hey, nice job.
Oh! Hey, Cobes, you're good! Oh, what a shot! You guys noticed it was a cardboard cutout. See? Tight opens, I would never do that. Of course. Coach, what did you think? Honestly, on a scale of like, I don't know, from here to about right here, how good was it? Okay! All the way up! Woo!